Hey, what's up, everybody? The wait is almost over. Kingdom Hearts 3 is on the horizon, and in celebration of this, I am doing a special gear up summarizing the story of Kingdom Hearts. I've had several friends come up to me and be like, hey, what the hell is going on? I only played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. That's, barely any of it. And there is a lot more confusing and cool stuff in there I think is worth noting. So here is everything you need to know with Kingdom Hearts before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. Our story starts in the age of fairy tales when the world was still whole. The titular Kingdom Hearts was a source of all light, granting both wisdom and power. Kingdom Hearts' protector and counterpart was the Keyblade. I will refer to this as the X-Blade from henceforth to reduce confusion. The Master of Masters, a goofy prophet, studied the X-Blade, and in doing so he discovered a way to create weapons called Keyblades by extracting it from a person's heart. The Master of Masters prophesied the battle that would cause the world to end, so he trained 5 apprentices called the Foretellers. The Foretellers were to lead their own separate unions. They protected the light and the world from darkness. Each foreteller got their own Keyblade and responsibility. Luxu, one of the foretellers, was given a Keyblade with the Master of Masters' gazing eye, so that the Master of Masters can see into the future to write in the Book of Prophecies. This book is basically the book from Neverending Story. Whatever is written in the book will happen. The Master of Masters also gave Luxu a box he cannot open. Once the Master of Masters finished assigning these roles to the foretellers, he disappeared. After the Master of Masters' departure, one of the foretellers, Ira, discovered a nightmare. This led the group to the conclusion that one of them is a traitor. This conflict breaks up the foretellers, with some members colluding against the others. However, not all foretellers reacted this way. Ava gathered many strong Keyblade wielders and tells them to go into hiding. They are called the Dandelions. While the other unions fought each other for control of the light, the fractured attempts allowed the darkness to take over the world. This event would then be called the Keyblade War, and it caused the X-Blade to shatter into 20 pieces, 7 of pure light and 13 of pure darkness. Once the X-Blade shattered, Kingdom Hearts disappeared into the darkness. The world was then saved by the light within children's hearts, but the darkness had already taken too much of a toll on the world, so it could not be saved fully. That one world split into several disconnected worlds, and that fated land where the Keyblade War took place was hence referred to as the Keyblade Graveyard. Years later, when the Keyblade War was only a legend, a young man named Xehanort on Destiny Islands was visited by a mysterious cloaked man. It turns out it was him from the future after Xehanort had taken on his Ansem persona and traveled backwards in time. Ansem is a Heartless, which is a living manifestation of the darkness in someone's heart. Ansem gave Xehanort the ability to travel through time in order to gather 10 vessels to house fragments of Xehanort's heart to create an organization that would recreate the X-Blade and restart the Keyblade War. After young Xehanort returns to his own time, he loses his memory of these events. However, he carries a subconscious need to become a Keyblade Master and carry out the events that would lead to the future he had seen. Xehanort travels to the land of departure and trains to become a Keyblade Master side by side with his friend Ericus. This friendship does not last long, however. Ericus believes that the darkness should be eliminated, but Xehanort believes it can be controlled and that darkness should exist equally with light. Xehanort would then take an apprentice by the name Ventus. His sole purpose of doing this is to use his body as a vessel to transfer his heart into. Ventus is too weak for this, however, so instead Xehanort extracts the darkness from his heart to create a new being named Vanitas. This also creates creatures similar to the Heartless. They are attracted to negativity and called the Unversed. Xehanort's plan is to use Vanitas to recreate the X-Blade by combining his heart of pure darkness with one of pure light, which he will find at a later time. Xehanort then takes Ventus to Destiny Islands to die, but there his broken heart is unknowingly touched by a newborn baby named Sora, who mends his broken heart. This makes Ventus survive. Xehanort then takes him to Ericus to be trained alongside his other two pupils, Terra and Aqua. Xehanort, looking for a new vessel after his Ventus failure, begins to look at Terra for the position. Xehanort then starts to manipulate Terra into turning against his friends. During that time, Terra visits Destiny Islands and meets a young lad named Riku. Terra bequeaths the power to wield a Keyblade to Riku, and Riku is chosen by the Kingdom Key. Around that same time, Aqua ends up in Radiant Gardens and meets a young girl named Kairi. Kairi touches Aqua's Keyblade, accidentally bequeathing herself the power to wield the Keyblade. Back in the Land of Departure, Ericus tries to kill Ventus to prevent Xehanort's plan to create the X-Blade, but Terra interrupts him. Xehanort shows up and kills Ericus and provokes Terra to meet him at the Keyblade Graveyard, and Ventus and Aqua follow him there. Once at the Keyblade Graveyard, Xehanort extracts his own heart and possesses Terra's body, becoming Terra Xehanort. At the same time, Vanitas possesses Ventus, and the X-Blade is forged. With the X-Blade back, Kingdom Hearts comes out from the darkness. In order to defeat Vanitas, Aqua teams up with Mickey Mouse, and the two defeat Vanitas and shatter the X-Blade. The explosion from the X-Blade's destruction sends everyone to different worlds and makes Kingdom Hearts disappear again. The battle with Vanitas made Ventus lose his heart, and Mickey brought him and Aqua to the mysterious tower. Yensid, a retired Keyblade master, lives here and is master to Mickey. Yensid tells Aqua that Ventus is in a deep sleep and he will not wake until his heart recovers. Aqua returns to the Land of Departure to seal it away as Master Ericus instructed. She uses her master's Keyblade and transforms the Land of Departure into Castle Oblivion, creating the Chamber of Waking where she seals Ventus while he heals. Aqua heads to Radiant Garden next, where Terra Xehanort landed. Xehanort escaped from Aqua, but lost his memories because of the strength of Terra's heart resisting him. He is found by Ansem the Wise, who takes him in as his apprentice. Ventus's heart finds its way back to Sora, fusing with his heart to heal. In an attempt to save Terra from the darkness, Aqua lets herself fall into the realm of darkness, where she discovers that time is at a standstill and doesn't flow normally. About a year later, Terra Xehanort begins to regain his memories of Master Xehanort, and then him and Braig decide to start convincing Ansem the Wise to experimenting with hearts to extract its darkness in order to create Heartless. So Ansem finds out about Xehanort and Braig's colluding, and he refuses to do it. Unfortunately for him, Xehanort, Braig, and Ansem's other apprentices, Dylan, Evan, Alias, and Ienzo, create Organization 13 and send Ansem the Wise into the Realm of Darkness. Next, Xehanort takes Ansem's name and identity, and then extracts the darkness out of himself and all the other newly found members of Organization 13, creating Heartlesses and Nobodies of each of them. A nobody is just the shell of a person after they have had their heart removed. However, if a person's heart is strong enough, they will be a separate entity with a new name and memories from their past self. Xehanort's Heartless retains the identity and name of Ansem afterwards. Now that Xehanort had been split into a Heartless and a Nobody, Xehanort's Heartless, Ansem, uses an army of Heartless to begin swallowing multiple worlds into darkness, trying to create his own artificial Kingdom Hearts. While on the other hand, his nobody, Xemnas, now leader of Organization 13, sets out to find more members. Ansem the Wise controls the power of darkness while not letting it consume him, and he takes refuge in Twilight Town, studying the nobodies and the Heartless under his new name, Diz. Flash forward 9 years, and 3 familiar faces are beginning to set off on their journey. Sora, Riku, and Kairi. the 3 children that were touched by the Birth by Sleep crew and bequeathed Keyblades are prepping to leave their island. Among their preparations, Riku goes into the secret place and opens up a door to darkness, and thus succumbing to it, opening up the door for the Heartless to invade Destiny Islands and take it over and swallow it into darkness. Sora then reaches out to Riku to try and save him from the darkness, but Riku has already given into it too much. This shows his Kingdom Key that Sora's heart is stronger, so it then chooses him over Riku. With the Kingdom Keyblade in hand, Sora can now fight off the Heartless, and he goes to the secret place to find Kairi next to the door, and then the door opens and a darkness blast blasts everyone to different locations. Kairi's heart then takes refuge inside Sora's heart, and her and Riku are sent off to locations unknown. During this time on a different world, Mickey Mouse, now a Keyblade Master and King, has set off on a quest to stop the darkness from taking over all the worlds. He left instructions for his mage Donald and knight Goofy to find the key, so they set off to Traverse Town to do this, where they end up meeting with Sora just by chance. Once these 3 discover that Sora's key has the power to seal keyholes, they set off on a journey sealing keyholes in all the worlds that have succumbed to the darkness, in which they run across Maleficent, who is trying to gather the 7 Princesses of Heart to gain access to the artificial Kingdom Hearts Ansem has created. As it turns out, these 7 princesses were protected by the 7 pieces of pure light that had broken off of the X-Blade years before. Sora then discovers that Riku has been working with Maleficent in order to save Kairi. Riku finds Kairi, but her heart is missing from her body, and she is unresponsive to anything. Sora, Donald, and Goofy's journey ends up taking them to Hollow Bastion, a world that was once Radiant Garden, where they fight Riku and Maleficent, getting past both of them to find Kairi, even though her body is still motionless. Now possessed by Ansem, Riku tells Sora that Kairi is one of the 7 Princesses of Heart, and that Kairi's heart is currently inside of him. Sora defeats Ansem, but since Kairi's heart is within his heart, he can't seal the keyhole just yet. So he uses Ansem's Keyblade to release Kairi's heart within his heart and his heart, but this event turns Sora into a Heartless. Kairi's heart, however, returns to her body, where she then finds a Heartless and uses her power as a Princess of Heart to bring Sora back from being a Heartless. Sora then follows Ansem to the end of the world, which is a world composed of fragments of worlds swallowed by the darkness, where he eventually defeats Ansem. Ironically, Ansem manages to open the door to his artificial Kingdom Hearts, but is killed by the light that comes out from it. With Ansem defeated, Riku now has control over his own body, and him and Mickey are seen through the door in the realm of darkness. A bunch of Heartless, seeing the door open, are rushing to attack Riku, but Aqua, who has been stuck in the realm of darkness and met up with Mickey previously, sacrifices herself to stop them, thus ensuring she will stay in the darkness for longer. To prevent the darkness from escaping, Sora, Riku, and Mickey then seal the door, with Riku and Mickey on the inside, with the promise from Mickey saying that as long as there is a door to the light, he will see his friends again. With the door now sealed, the broken worlds can reunite, and Kairi is now being pulled back to Destiny Island. Sora promises her that they will meet again, but him, Donald, and Goofy set out on a journey to find the door to the light. Sora does not know about nobodies at this point, so when he released his heart and became a Heartless, he formed a nobody in the process for him and Kairi, named Roxas and Naminé, respectively. Roxas is found in Twilight Town by Xemnas and recruited as a member of Organization 13. Naminé is found within the halls of Castle Oblivion and used for her memory-related powers. Since Ventus's heart lives within Sora's, this would explain why Roxas looks exactly like Ventus, and he can wield both Sora and Ventus's Keyblades. Xemnas then places Axel, another member of Organization 13, in charge of Roxas and tasks the two with destroying Heartless to fill and create another artificial Kingdom Hearts in order for the nobodies to put hearts within themselves and be whole once again. Shortly after Roxas joins, a new member joins Organization 13, the 14th member, Xion. Xion also has the ability to wield a Keyblade, much to Roxas' surprise. After Xion joins, Axel and a bunch of other members of Organization 13 are sent to Castle Oblivion to look after Naminé and prepare for Sora's arrival. While making their way through Castle Oblivion, Sora, Donald, and Goofy lose their memories, and their memories are replaced by fake ones created by Naminé, who was forced to do so by the organization members that captured her. Two organization members, Marluxia and Larxene, intend to use Naminé to wipe all of Sora's memories, using him as a puppet so that they can overthrow the organization. Sora ends up fighting his way through Castle Oblivion, defeating multiple organization members along the way. Eventually, he defeats Marluxia, the leader of Castle Oblivion, and saves Naminé from his capture. Naminé then tells Sora to get in the Chamber of Sleeping so that she may repair his actual memories, but he will forget all about Naminé in the process. During this time, Riku had also been fighting through Castle Oblivion, but had started on a lower level than Sora. He also defeated multiple members of Organization 13 along the way. Eventually, Riku reaches Naminé, where she had just put Sora to sleep. Riku instructs Naminé to take care of Sora while he goes away to deal with the darkness that dwells within him. With Sora sleeping, Roxas then falls into a sleep as well, due to their connection, and is in a coma for several weeks. During this time, Diz invades Castle Oblivion, and then finds Naminé reconstructing Sora's memories. He then takes them to Twilight Town to observe the reconstruction process. Axel, the only member from Organization 13 at Castle Oblivion that survived the encounter, returns to base, and Roxas then wakes up. Axel, Roxas, and Xion then grow pretty close, doing missions all together and sitting on top of the clock tower eating ice cream. This peaceful time of ice cream and giggling doesn't last long, however, because Roxas, shortly after this, begins to experience memories of Sora's that are being restored inside him. These memories make Roxas question the organization's motives. Xion then crosses paths with Riku. Riku then finds her unconscious on Destiny Island and asks her to come with him to find Sora and return his memories so that he can wake up. Xion instead goes home to the organization, where she absorbs Sora's memories faster into her instead of Roxas, strengthening her and weakening him. This was all part of Xemnas' plan. Shortly after this happens, Xion absorbs so many of Sora's memories she begins to question everything, and finds Riku again, and the two go to Sora to restore his memories. Shortly after this, Axel reveals to Roxas Xion's true identity. She is an imperfect replica of Roxas created by Xemnas in order to be a failsafe just in case Roxas couldn't cut it. Very upset that his friend kept this information from him, Roxas then defects from Organization 13. Axel warns him that the organization will destroy him if he does so, but Roxas has had enough of it and he will take the risk and leaves. Xion then makes her way to the old mansion in Twilight Town and meets up with Naminé, where Naminé tells her what will happen if she merges with Sora, in which case Sora will get all his memories back and be closer to awakening, while Xion will be forgotten by everybody. Xion then accepts this responsibility, but before she can go to Sora to get absorbed into him, Diz shows up and tells them that the organization has followed her here. It is her old pal Axel that is the one sent to fight her and bring her back to the organization. The two fight and Axel wins. He then brings an unconscious Xion back to the organization, where he has received too many wounds from their battle and collapses from exhaustion. Xemnas finds the two and then takes Xion to reprogram her. Eventually, Roxas makes his way back to Twilight Town and sits on top of the train station yet again. Shion meets up with him and begins to talk to him and reveals that she has been reprogrammed to look almost like Sora exactly. Despite the reprogramming of Xemnas, Shion still knows that if she returns to Sora, he will regain all his memories and then she will be forgotten by everybody. She also remembers that the stronger she gets, the weaker Roxas gets, and this will eventually fade Roxas out of existence. So she tricks Roxas into defeating her in self-defense, and while she is fading, all her memories and the heart she grew returns to Sora. Roxas has forgotten all about Shion, but makes his way to the world that never was to confront Xemnas, but is stopped by Riku. Riku intends to stop Roxas at any cost to bring him back to Sora to complete his memory restoration. The two do battle, and then Roxas overpowers Riku. This causes Riku to give in to the darkness, thus giving him the appearance of Ansem and more power from the darkness. This gives Riku enough power to defeat Roxas. After doing so, Diz shows up and takes Roxas back to the old mansion, where he digitizes him and puts him in a virtual Twilight Town so that the organization can't find him as easily. Roxas, now in a digital version of Twilight Town, lives out his days as a normal kid on summer vacation. He eventually starts to realize what is going on due to Sora's memories creeping within his again, various glitches in the system, nobody's invading, Axel invading, and being confronted by Naminé. He eventually finds out what he really is, Sora's nobody, and goes to Sora to become whole once again. Interrupted by Axel, who is trying to take Roxas back at any means necessary, Roxas does battle with him and eventually defeats him because he is using his full power with two Keyblades. Roxas then finds Sora and reunites with him, thus waking Sora. After waking up, Sora, Donald, and Goofy make their way to Master Yen Sid's tower, where he then tells them that they have to go up against the Heartless, the Nobodies, and Organization 13. With two factions of Heartless, one led by the Nobodies and one led by a recently revived Maleficent. During the same time, Axel heads over to Destiny Islands and finds Kairi and promises her that he can take her to Sora and tries to get her to go with him. Riku realizes this is a trap and creates a corridor of darkness for Kairi to run away in. This is a valiant effort, but ultimately does not work, as she transports to Twilight Town, where Axel just shows up and kidnaps her again anyways. Sora, Donald, and Goofy eventually make their way back to Hollow Bastion, where they join the Hollow Bastion Restoration Committee to once again return the world to Radiant Garden. Sora then finds Ansem the Wise's secret lab, where he learns about all of Xehanort's notes on the Heartless, and the committee discovers that the world is being attacked by Heartless yet again. After fending off this horde of Heartless, Sora, Donald, and Goofy come across King Mickey, where the four of them run into Xemnas, who then reveals that Mickey is not sharing all the information about Riku with Sora. Xemnas then creates a portal of darkness and escapes, with Mickey jumping in after him. Shortly after, Axel shows up and tries to tell Sora of the organization's plans and what to do with them, and he is stopped by Saïx, who then reveals their plans anyways to Sora, telling him that he is gathering hearts for their artificial kingdom hearts from every Heartless he defeats. Sora, Donald, and Goofy then make their way to Twilight Town in order to find Diz's computer to learn more about the Nobodies and what is going on. They end up going into the simulation that Roxas was once in, the artificial Twilight Town, where they are met with a horde of Nobodies. Axel then shows up and sacrifices himself, stopping the horde so Sora, Donald, and Goofy can escape. While he's dying, Axel tells Sora where he has hidden Kairi and opens up a portal to the organization's homeworld, the world that never was. Once here, Roxas begins to awaken again, and Sora and Roxas do battle within his mind for dominance. Sora eventually beats Roxas and regains control of his body. Inside the organization's castle prison, Kairi is then rescued by Naminé, who opens up a portal of darkness and the two escape from it. They are accosted by Saïx, who summons an army of nobodies who are dispatched by a man in a cloak, who is revealed to be Riku, that still looks like Ansem from giving into the darkness. Sora ends up battling throughout the entire castle, ultimately meeting up with Kairi and Riku once again. The group, now reunited, goes through the castle, defeating pretty much the rest of the organization members along the way. They end up meeting up with Diz, who unmasks himself to be Ansem the Wise. Him and Mickey are trying to encode Kingdom Hearts using a device. This process proves to be too much for the machine, as it overloads and explodes, making Ansem the Wise vanish, but it purifies Riku in the process, so he returns to his original form. However, it also damages Kingdom Hearts severely, unleashing an immense amount of Heartless, so much so that it is up to Pete and Maleficent to hold them off while Sora and Riku go after Xemnas. Sora and the gang eventually defeat Xemnas after multiple attempts. After the final attempt, everybody but Sora, Kairi, and Riku escape through a corridor of darkness. Sora and Kairi are greeted by Roxas and Naminé, who decide to merge with Kairi and Sora respectively. The three then proceed to leave through the corridor of darkness. Kairi makes it through, but then the darkness closes, and they are greeted by Xemnas once again. Riku and Sora eventually defeat Xemnas for good, and thus stop the organization once and for all. But the two are then left in the realm of darkness on a beach, until they get a message in a bottle from Kairi, and a door to light opens, with the two running through it onto Destiny Islands, where they're reunited with Donald, Goofy, King Mickey, and Kairi. Jiminy Cricket then finds out that his journal from him and Sora's first adventure is now blank, with only the words "Thank Naminé" left. Upon further inspection, he finds another passage that just says, "Their hurting will be mended when you return to end it." In order to find out what this means, King Mickey digitizes the first journal and finds there are a bunch of bugs in it, so he creates Data Sora in order to fix it. Eventually, Data Sora makes his way to a digital version of Castle Oblivion, where he meets up with Data Naminé, where she tells him that he is the key to everything due to his connections with Axel, Roxas, Xion herself, not to mention Terra, Ventus, and Aqua. These people are the hurting that Sora is meant to heal. After revealing this, Data Naminé erases herself from the notebook, thus returning everything to normal. At the same time, Maleficent and Pete, who had put themselves into the datascape in order to learn information, are escaping, and Maleficent reveals to Pete that she is aware of the Book of Prophecies and has set her sights on retrieving it for herself. Mickey then goes to his master Yensid in order to come up with a plan to save Ventus, Terra, and Aqua from their fates. The two are closer to finding out where Ventus is, knowing that Aqua is still stuck within the realm of darkness, so they try to find a plan to find out where Terra is. Yensid then informs Mickey that since Xehanort's Heartless and Nobody have both been destroyed, his heart and body can merge once again to reclaim his original form, Master Xehanort. With this great threat looming on the horizon, Yensid instructs Mickey to get Riku and Sora there to take the Mark of Mastery exam to become Keyblade Masters. Mickey sends this message to Sora and Riku in a bottle. The two receive it, and it is read by Sora, Riku, and Kairi. Sora and Riku then set out on a journey to get to Yensid's to take their Mark of Mastery exam. Back in the realm of darkness, Aqua stumbles upon Ansem the Wise, who had been blasted into the realm of darkness after his contraption exploded when he was trying to encode Kingdom Hearts. He then tells Aqua that he's beginning to lose all his memories, and that he had put all his research inside of a boy while his memories were being restored. This boy had saved the world twice from darkness. Ever hopeful, Aqua asks if it's Terra or Ventus, and Ansem the Wise replies that it is neither of those, and it is a young boy named Sora. Aqua loves to hear this because she knows the name from her past when she talked to Sora and Riku when they were children. Now, back to Radiant Garden, the members of Organization 13 are waking up in their human forms since their nobodies and heartless were destroyed. All the past members of the organization waking up still have their memories from their nobody forms, but they notice that two are missing, Brag and Isa, who were once Saïx and Xigbar, the nobodies of Organization 13. Now that they are finally there, Sora and Riku are at Yensid's mysterious tower where they are starting their Mark of Mastery exam, where Yensid instructs them to go to 7 worlds and seal the keyholes in order to wake them up from a deep sleep which has disconnected them from other worlds. They are sent back in time to Destiny Islands to dive into the dreams of that world before it is encompassed by darkness. Sora does this, diving into the dreams of the world easily. Riku, however, unknowingly dives into Sora's dreams, thus becoming a Dream Eater and protecting him from his nightmares. During this time, Mickey gets a note from Maleficent saying she has kidnapped Queen Minnie and is holding her for ransom, trying to get Mickey's information from his digitized journals and the datascape. Maleficent is about to attack, but then these flaming chakrams fly out of nowhere and block the attack. It is Lee, who was once Axel the Nobody, protecting Mickey and sending Maleficent and Pete running off into the darkness. These 4 then return to Yensid's tower, where Lee asks Yensid to make him a Keyblade wielder. Yensid tells him that this is not an easy road, and Lee still accepts it. He is then trained by Merlin the Wizard and the 3 good fairies to make his training shorter. Throughout their journey, Sora and Riku end up crossing paths with Xehanort's Heartless, Nobody, and a mysterious young man several times. After sealing all the keyholes, Sora is sent back to the real world and, for some reason, is transported to the world that never was. This was all the organization's plan the whole time, where they revealed that Xigbar has once again become his nobody self, and the mysterious young man puts Sora into a deep sleep. While in this sleep, the young man reveals to Sora that he is a young Xehanort and has the ability to travel through time. Delving ever deeper into the world that never was, Sora eventually comes across Xigbar and Xemnas yet again, where Xemnas reveals that the young Xehanort has been using his time-traveling abilities to gather Xehanorts and form the real Organization 13. This was always the plan of the organization, however, to recruit multiple husks that Xehanort can put his heart in to create multiple versions of himself. However, due to the independence of members like Roxas, Axel, and Xion, it did not end up going that way the first time. So far, the members of the real Organization 13 are Master Xehanort, Young Xehanort, Xehanort's Heartless, Xemnas, and Xigbar, who is revealed to already be half Xehanort. This is when Xemnas informs Sora that some nobodies can grow hearts of their own, such as Axel, Roxas, Xion, and Naminé. They all did this due to the strength of their heart, even though they technically didn't have a heart, being nobodies. Xemnas and Xigbar then try to convince Sora to become one of Master Xehanort's many vessels. Sora refuses and does battle with Xemnas. Although he does win, he gets too tired from the battle and passes out. Young Xehanort then takes Sora to the organization, where Sora falls into darkness, but Ventus's heart emerges from Sora and envelops him in Ventus's Keyblade armor to protect him. Riku then shows up in the world that never was, where he finds Sora suspended since young Xehanort had put him into his own dreams. Riku then does battle with a dark figure, but is then taken into the darkness by Xehanort's Heartless. This is when Xehanort's Heartless reveals to Riku that he has been inside Sora's dreams this whole time and is a Dream Eater protecting Sora from his nightmares. The two then do battle after Xehanort's Heartless tries to take over Riku yet again, but fails. Riku, beating him, returns to the real world, where he is on a path to find Sora. After making his way to the throne room, Riku sees a sleeping Sora. It's at this point that young Xehanort reveals that Sora will be the 13th vessel for Xehanort. After saying this, Mickey shows up and the two do battle with young Xehanort, but in doing so, give time for Master Xehanort to be fully revived. It is at this time that Master Xehanort reveals his plan to put 13 pure darknesses against 7 pure lights in order to restart the Keyblade War and recreate the X-Blade. All of a sudden, Mickey and Riku are restrained by Xemnas and Xehanort's Heartless, while Master Xehanort sends a fragment of his heart into Sora to take over his body, but it is stopped at the last second by Lee. Master Xehanort then summons a very powerful Heartless to defeat the group, but then Donald and Goofy show up out of nowhere and defeat the Heartless. Defeated, Master Xehanort and the rest of themselves retreat, saying this is only a setback and their plan is still in motion. With the Xehanorts retreated, King Mickey and Riku and the gang return to Yensid's tower and inform Yensid of Master Xehanort's plans. Sora, still in a deep sleep, can't wake up, so Riku has to go into his dreams and use the power that he has gained along his journey to wake up Sora's heart. Inside, he does battle with Sora, who is still in Ventus's Keyblade armor, which has been taken over by darkness. After defeating the dark armor around Sora, Riku ends up going to Destiny Islands within Sora's dreams, where he meets Roxas, Ventus, and Xion before finally meeting with Diz. This is actually only a data projection of Ansem the Wise. It is the research he had hidden in Sora while his memories were being restored. The data projection of Ansem the Wise then gives Riku a bottle containing all the data he had hidden within Sora, and reveals that due to defeating the Nightmare and the interactions he had with Roxas, Xion, and Ventus, Sora has awoken in the real world. Riku then departs and goes back to the real world. With them both back in the real world and awake, Yensid reveals the results of their Mark of Mastery tests, revealing that Sora had failed due to falling to the darkness, and that Riku had passed, becoming a Keyblade Master. Shocking to everybody, Lee then states that he will be the next to take the Mark of Mastery exam and summons his Keyblade for the very first time. It's at this point that Sora travels back to the sleeping Traverse Town to visit his Dream Eaters. This makes Ventus smile, showing that he is reacting to Sora's happiness, basically saying that Ventus is getting closer to awakening even though he's still asleep and hidden in Castle Oblivion. Mickey and Yensid are discussing Xehanort's plan, that they have to protect the 7 pure lights, which are the 7 princesses of hearts. So they need 7 guardians. They are missing 1 guardian. Riku then walks in with that guardian. Turns out it is Kairi, who has the ability to wield a Keyblade, and she will be taking the Mark of Mastery exam with Lee. Yensid then tells Riku, Kairi, and Mickey that they must rescue Terra, Aqua, and Ventus in order to stop Master Xehanort's plans. Ventus is still hidden away safely in Castle Oblivion, and Aqua is trapped within the Realm of Darkness. Mickey reveals to Riku that she sacrificed herself when they were sealing the door the first time, and Riku is upset at this information, but then Yensid tells him there was no way to go safely into the darkness until now. Riku and Mickey then grab protective garments made by the 3 good fairies and set off to go help Aqua. Sora then returns to the tower to reunite with Yensid and the others, just to find out that all the others have left already. Yensid then tells Sora that he has been stripped of his powers due to Xehanort's scheme to make Sora his vessel and succumbing to the darkness. Yensid then instructs Sora he needs to go find someone who has had their powers stripped and regained them once before. So Sora then realizes he knows someone like that and sets off to Olympus Coliseum to confront Hercules about his problem. Sora, Donald, and Goofy then get in the Gummy ship, only to remember that the lanes between worlds have been closed. And then Goofy restates one of Yensid's mottos, "May your heart be your guiding key." Sora then uses his Keyblade to open up a pathway to the Olympus Coliseum, and the 3 blast off, going to see Hercules. And that leads us right into Kingdom Hearts 3. That is everything you need to know about the Kingdom Hearts franchise. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe, and let me know if I left anything important out. Can't wait for Kingdom Hearts 3. Hope y'all liked the video.